Друзі, всім привіт! Мене звати Олена Вострова, це проект ІПСО, і сьогодні у нас спецвипуск. Ми будемо говорити про китайську пропаганду, про те, як вона розповсюджується на Тайвані безпосередньо, як вона розповсюджується у світі, і про те, що китайська пропаганда робить в Україні, і наскільки вона власне, синхронізована з російською пропагандою. Це дуже важливо, тому що ми маємо розуміти, що російсько-українська війна відбувається в контексті глобального протистояння демократії, автократії і, власне, протистояння Сполучених Штатів Америки і Китаю. З нами на зв'язку сьогодні гість із Тайваню. Його звати У Міншин або Тіті Кет. І ми будемо говорити з ним безпосередньо про те, що відбувається сьогодні на Тайвані і як там працює китайська пропаганда.
Well, Taiwan is facing propaganda and disinformation from China in so many different ways, and the most significant reason is that we share the same language, as obviously, and after the decades ago when the Cold War ended and the cross-strait relationship began new sort of like exchange. There's a lot of information media is flowing to our space, and more with the social media platforms, people here are very easily to access the content from China. So there's a lot of we all know that China is a very heavily media controlled places and environment. So a lot of their ideology will go into different like culture content or even political content and to Taiwanese audience. Those propaganda or disinformation sometimes is targeting our own government, sometimes it's bragging about their own governance system, saying that China is the better economy or better governance systems or governance model. And also there's a lot of like anti-democracy or anti-Western value related content. So it should sound very familiar to the audience today in Ukraine, because there's a lot of we've also found there's a lot of a lesson learned from China government with Russia. They've been sharing and learning from each other for the tactic and also the narrative. Is very similar.
Я маю сказати, що У Міншин також є співзасновником і генеральним директором Doublethink Lab. У Міншин, what does your organization do, Doublethink Lab? What does it mean?
Doublethink is a reference from 1984 as a novel to describe this like fiction authoritarian word. That doublethink means that people can believe two totally conscious concept, but they believe deeply for those concept and still work very well. So that's how propaganda work. They try to manipulate your cognitive and try to make you believe something that exists or doesn't exist, but from the perspective aligned with those government. So Doublethink Lab starting in 2019. Our main primary focus is how China promoting their propaganda different technique and also what through different platforms. So oftentimes we describe it as a information operation or cognitive warfare. Recently, we also it's also like what EU framed it as a FIMI, foreign information manipulation and interference. A lot of our work is on the investigating and also do some public report to demonstrate whether some political incident has been amplified by Chinese cyber troop or Chinese organized bot online.
Я от бачу, що у Тіті Кета є прапорець український. So you have a Ukrainian flag on your coat.
Yes, this flag is given by a volunteer organized group in Ukraine once when they visited in Taiwan. But personally, me and my former chairperson, we've been to Kiev after the full-scale war in 2023. And during that trip, we were shocked. So we already know there's a lot of a similarity that Taiwan and the Ukraine all shared. But we didn't know how identical our adversary using the tactic against us. So we also been told for decades that Taiwan is a small country, which implies that you are incompetent to resist the superpower like China, Russia, or U.S. You can only react on other people. You don't have your own autonomy. And furthermore, they are denying that Taiwan is a country, and they say you are not real country, and we share the same culture. We are brother or sister. We share the same blood. It's all the same. So when Putin published his statement in 2022, February, that why and how he will launch this invasion, that his speech have this like Chinese transcription word by word in 10,000 words within an hour circulating on the Weibo, which is a Chinese social media platform. When I first read it, I thought that's a joke. I thought that's a prank. I thought that's a fake, because every terminology they are using, Putin is using, is what we've been told by Chinese actors, by Chinese government for very, very long time. So there's a lot of a similarity we found. And also there's a lot of a tactic for how they control the media, control the narrative, how they frame your existence, your own identity. It's very, very similar. So we've been advocating Taiwan civil society or Taiwanese government should work more with Ukraine, not only helping Ukraine, but also learn how our those authoritarian regime working together.
Ну що ж, дійсно, схоже, що китайська пропаганда і російська пропаганда взаємодіють і є доволі тісними. Цікаво, які є наративи, які є спільними?
We've been seeing, we all know that Russia is spreading the disinformation targeting Ukraine prior to invasion, maybe 3 months to 6 months in 40 countries. That's reported by a Western think tank. That they are telling other people Ukrainian government is corrupt. Ukraine is controlled by a small neo-Nazi, and a lot of this like non-true stories. What they want to do is try to reduce the support or potential sanction, or as much as possible to delay those support or sanction once they invade. We see a very similar tactic that China government is also pushing to other countries as well to demonize Taiwan or undermine Taiwan's identity, history, and also they were targeting Taiwanese current government, which is more for Taiwan independent or at least Taiwan own identity. So I think there's a lot of a similarity here that they share, and also they are oftentimes they before the invasion in Ukraine. When we learned is that they also found this like a local agent, which is a Ukrainian, but they control a lot of local media. So they use that under the name of the protected freedom of expression. They run this like a Ukrainian media organization, but they promote a lot of a Russian narrative, which we have the similar problem here that a few years ago, a businessman, they do a lot of huge business in China, come back to Taiwan and brought 3 different media organizations, existing Taiwanese media organization, and start to brick by brick to transfer it to a Chinese propaganda mouthpiece. So basically, they will replicate the narrative from the Xinhua or Global Times, and also not only that, also there's evidence shows they are having the contract and the direct work relationship with the China government agencies. So we think that there's a definitely democracy, safeguard of a democracy mechanism that need to be held or improved, enhanced. And as our adversary is learning from each other how to infiltrate into the democracy countries, we also need to work more closely to learn what Ukrainian learned during this tragedy sacrificed.
Тільки тут є такий наратив в Україні, що якщо українці будуть співпрацювати з тайванцями, то китайці будуть дуже злитися. Типу, не зли китайців, не співпрацюй з тайванцями.
Of course, I think that Ukraine has a current, more urgent fight and a must to win. So I'm not here to try to convince you to start another battlefield with another superpower authoritarian regime. But I will share my 2 cents, also a lesson I learned personally from the Ukrainian, the full-scale war. It's that when I saw this war in 2022, I realized that, in our own situation, the reason China hasn't invaded or hasn't to attack Taiwan is not because we behave. It's just because they are not ready yet. So when the bully want to bully you, they can make up all the excuses. They can make all this like a false narrative or fake news, or they can frame you in any way they want. They can make up all the excuses just to execute their own ambition or to pursue their own goals. So I, of course, want to know if there's any way that Taiwan civil society or Taiwan's government can help Ukraine, not in the name for Ukraine to, promote Taiwan or Taiwan identity at this moment. At least, I think Taiwan's government is not asking for those return, but they're asking for the whole world, especially the democracies country, to friendly support Ukraine, as we have this firm commitment to all the democracy country in the world for the safety and the safeguard for the free world. Yeah.
Як на сьогоднішній день тайванці протистоять пропаганді, яка йде з Китаю, от власне в сфері медіа?
So there's a lot of we go through a lot of different channels, so it's kind of a whole of society approach. So we work with social media platforms. If there's a manipulation, amplifiers, or kind of like bots or fake accounts, we can urge them to remove or to help to make sure the integrity of the information. And also we can work with some of the Taiwanese government agency for them to look into that and to publish fact-checking result at an urgent time. And also we work with different civil society organization to do the education program to educate our citizens how to differentiate and how to identify those propaganda or disinformation coming from foreign state.
А як українцям, власне, можна от бачити китайські наративи, вирізняти, що це саме китайська пропаганда? Тому що китайська пропаганда працює і в Україні, вона в усьому світі працює. Що б ви могли порекомендувати українцям?
Yes. So, China propaganda, probably like Russia propaganda, they have so many different form. They're always coming. but they have a very, very little narrative trope, which means that they will always align with CCP or Russia government, their goal, their foreign policy, or their military ambitions. So it was always aligned with the. It's not that much difference. And they were always targeting sometimes they were targeting your own problem or your own governance problem. But if we are a democracy country, and which it means we have our own resilience. We are not perfect, but we have a functional democracy system that can help us to improve with time and to change the government or elect. So instead of the red tagging for each other's in the society, that focus on the actual problem the society has and to fix it in a way that unites the whole country, not to divide. Because our adversary doesn't want us to trust each others. They want our society further polarized, and we are unable to mobilize or unite it or to defend their aggressions. So I think they are basically very easy to see because one, they have very little various narrative. But also, I think the problem is not how to identify this is a China propaganda or this is not. The real solution is that how we fix our own society and unite our own society, even we have difference, even we have flaws, we have something to improve and to be better. That's the way we can be stronger and strengthen our society.
Також у мене останнє питання до Тіті Кета. От, власне, його організація Doublethink Lab займається тим, що протистоїть і протидіє діджитал-авторитаризму або цифровому авторитаризму.
Yeah, so the threat is that we have more and more relied on the foreign platforms, social media platform or technology platform, and for our own public debate or for our public discourse, which is essential for democracy. So let's say if in Taiwan, for instance, that most of the politicians or most of the NGO, most of the citizens, 95% use Facebook. But if one day Facebook is owned by an authoritarian regime or a dictator, they can easily to silence anyone they don't like. What if somebody is campaigning for presidential election and 2 weeks before the voting, and then one candidate's account got blocked or disappeared, right? So this is something that we are handling our public disclose or is the essential component of the democracy to somebody else outside of our country, and this is a real threat and a danger, especially when we talk about the platform is owned by the country which is not free, like China, TikTok, or like Russia. So I would assume that nobody, because they closed it, but nobody is using VK, right? But what if VK is popular, just like a TikTok, right? Will you feel comfortable to reach out to your own citizen on that platform, which that all this information algorithm pushing is all could be manipulated by the government. So this is what we see. They are expanding through those technology and in the digital space, and they are also putting their own ideology or their type of the censorship into those algorithms, and so they can extend their system to other places. We already be seeing, for instance, like in Taiwan, a lot of young kids not only using TikTok, but they are playing a lot of Chinese video games, right? But inside those Chinese video games, even they already come to Taiwan and have a company here, but they still apply the same censorship inside those video games with the China. So there's a lot of keywords or Taiwanese relate to Taiwanese identity cannot be shared or cannot be talked or mentioned inside the video game. It's changing our young kids and our young generation, their perspective to certain things and then make them more aligned with the Chinese government's ideology. So this is the threats that we've been fighting for quite some time. And we really try to make sure that those companies are registered in Taiwan and have certain accountability, and our government or civil society can have certain oversights to what those algorithms work and how they decide to push the narrative or downrate some of the content on their platform.
Що ж, я думаю, це дуже велика тема, і ми обов'язково продовжуємо нашу співпрацю. Друзі, нагадаю, що у нас сьогодні в гостях був У Міньшин або TT Cat, і ми спілкувалися про те, як працює китайська пропаганда не тільки на Тайвані, вона працює в усьому світі і, зокрема, в Україні. Thank you very much, and
Thank you so much for
and
inviting
hear
me.
you later.
See you.
Goodbye.
Stay strong.